Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk to me funny, lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Josh, M.A., thank you so much for taking the time. What a great movie this was.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I always like to start, though, where the germ of the idea came from. My favorite movie is Back to the Future, and Bob Gale came up with the idea of finding a yearbook. So I want to know, kind of for this movie, where did the germ of the idea start? Josh, I'll go with you.
I think we've always found that Hollywood is a little bit like a hellscape.
Yeah.
We wanted to make a movie about the hell of making movies. We also can relate to, sort of certain challenges the characters are going through with addictions and past traumas and all the sort of complicated familial relationships. It was just sort of, It was a soup of, let's just throw in everything that we've had to deal with in our lives.
Yeah.
And make something creative out of it.
At the time we started writing it, there was a real watershed moment in Hollywood where a lot of really, really abusive, terrible, toxic behavior was sort of coming out in kind of a torrent, and it seemed like the making of a movie was like kind of an interesting location for a possession to take hold, because we certainly feel like we've met some possessed people over the course of our career.
Exactly.
when you're going in and writing on this screenplay, again, I hate to harp on Back to the Future, but for some reason, when I was watching the movie, it came to mind just when the process goes, because I know Bob Zemeckis, they use the note card method, to establish, Marty's, going to invent skateboarding. We show it earlier in the movie. There's Save the Cat. There's the Sid Field's beat sheet. Is there a particular formula that y'all find yourselves going for this horror movie because you do have to hit particular beats, or is it very free form? M.A., if I could start with you.
Gosh, I mean, I think I don't remember it being overly structured. I think for us, the most important thing that we always start with, especially for this movie, was just the relationships, that we didn't try to pen the characters or the situations into any kind of specific structure. Like Back to the Future is a friggin' masterpiece, right? Because it is this like pocket watch that just like every time you watch it, you're just like, oh my God, it's so beautifully constructed, right? And for something like this, we felt the way for it to really succeed is not so much for everything to click into place perfectly in terms of cause and effect, right, with like 1955, 1985, but for the relationship between father and daughter to feel really messy and really whatever piece they get to is really hard won. And for us, fighting for that being as sort of thorny as possible was really, I think, the main event. Josh, would you agree?
I mean, well, first of all, Back to the Future is one of the greatest movies, and I think it was definitely like the inspiration for a movie we made before called The Final Girls. But I think ultimately, sometimes I come from writing books as well, and I like the idea when I write a book, I don't really think about the middle and the end. I mean, sometimes I think I know where the book ends, but I like to get lost. And because then you discover things. If you're overly structured, I think sometimes you get hemmed in. It's like you're on a road trip. Sometimes you don't want to have to go by the map. Sometimes you want to, oh, wow, we just ended up at this place. Never expected this turnoff off the freeway. Let's do it. Why not? Uh-oh, we're dead, or we're alive, or we found something really unusual, or we meet interesting people. Like, I like the idea of just kind of going into the darkness and kind of discovering stuff. A lot of screenwriting, a lot of like process, they try to teach you to have like this grid and structure. Maybe for some people that works.
And certain stories.
Yeah, but for us, this was more of a psychological drama. So I think it was important, you know, obviously psychological drama with horror elements, but it was psychological in its roots. And I think the whole point is you got to get a little lost because you're kind of going into the subconscious. You're going in like, you're going under into a very murky place. And I think you need to give yourself space to get lost in.
Well, you know what? I think that the pacing of this movie, the relationships of this movie, the scares of this movie, the psychological, it all works on all levels. And this is something that I really enjoyed watching, and I enjoyed the conversation with the two of you. Congratulations again on it. Would love to talk to you anytime.
Thanks, Brad.